Porter Cable Professional Power Tools. Made in America since 1906 and available through woodworking dealers, hardware stores, and home centers everywhere. Porter Cable, the wood.
Hello, and welcome back to the shop virtually. Today what I want to do is I want to cover the portable router, which is a machine that you're going to be using for your butcher block project as well as your peg shelf and towel rack project. Today though I want to focus just on the butcher block project. To get started, it's important that you have your note sheet in front of you. This is an electronic document that you have on Schoology. So please make sure to open this up, put your name on there, and fill in the blanks as we go throughout the demonstration. In order to complete this process, you do need a few things out in front of you for when you use the router. The first thing is our drop-down outlet. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we have access to power, so when we use the tool we can easily plug it in. You'll also need your butcher block board itself, and so after we have gone through the CNC process, which you'll learn about next week when we're back here face to face, we'll go ahead and create that groove. Once the groove is done, we then need to go ahead and round over the edges, which is the purpose of the portable router. We're going to round over all the edges, both top and bottom. And to do this, I'm going to use my example board here that I have worked on with you guys in class. And so this would typically be done after we have the CNC portion of our project completed. And so I have my board. I'm also going to need a clamp, and I'm going to need the portable router. We use a Porter Cable router here in class. This model might look a little bit different than the picture on your paper or on your document, but understand that the same parts of the router are on both of those machines. First thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have my router unraveled here. At the top of the machine is the on-off switch. Before we begin, we want to make sure that the router is always in the off position for when we go to plug in the machine. It would not be a good idea if when you plugged in the machine, the router turned on right away, especially depending on where your hands are located and where you are in corresponds to the router bit itself. The next part that we have is called the sub base. This is what sits on the board. The sub base is this plastic piece that is able to be scratched. So that way, over time, it won't hurt the machine. It's just going to get worn down. The third part that we have is called the router bit. And the router bit is securely placed in the router using what's called a collet. A collet is just a simple piece, a clamp, that secures the router bit from moving up and down. So that way, as you are routing your edges, you're going to be able to have that bit secure. Part of the router includes the cutters, which is a radius here for what we're going to be doing, a round over bit. And we also have what's called a bearing, which is this metal wheel at the top of the router bit, or depending on how you're looking at it, the bottom of the router bit. The purpose of the bearing is to give us a consistent edge. So as I route my board, I'm going to have that same profile along the entire edge here. Once I know all the parts of the machine, I can go ahead and begin using it. Make sure that you get permission from me before you begin, and you don't just simply grab the router and begin using it on your own. It's important that you have proper eye protection when you use the portable router, especially for those of you that may not use safety glasses like myself. You want to make sure you push your glasses up a little bit so that way the sawdust doesn't get underneath your glasses at any point. This is a machine that does not have dust collection, so when you're done, you want to make sure that you clean up after yourself. I've checked to make sure that the router is off. I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. I'm also going to go ahead and clamp my board down to the table. We are now ready to begin using the portable router. The first thing we're going to do is route the ends of our board. And when we route it, we always go from the left to the right. So you'll notice that in the video it looks backwards, but it is correct for me, the operator. When I'm using the router, I want to make sure that my hand is not near the opening of the router, and that I keep my router bit away from the edge of the board when I begin. I do want to make sure that the sub base is flat on my board and not angled in any direction as I use it. You'll notice that as I use the router, I go over the majority of the edge from left to right, again, from my view, the operator. And then the spot that I miss, I can go back and go right to left for that little area. Once I've done one end, I can go ahead and turn it around and do the next one. Adjust my clamp again, and now I can do the length of my board. What's nice about this router is the fact that it's so compact. So it allows you to operate with one hand, but if you feel more comfortable, you can use both hands as well. I have one more edge. Watch the cord as you are using the router, that it's not in the way of the cutter. Once you are done the first side, you can then go ahead and flip it over and do the same thing for the other side. And again, make sure you start with the ends and then do the length with the grade. I hope that this demonstration helped you understand the purpose of the portable router and how you will apply it to your own project. Make sure that when you are done using the portable router, that you wrap up the cord, you put it back in the bag that it comes in, and then you clean up after yourself. This includes sweeping the area that you were using the portable router. If you have any questions, feel free to refer back to your notes that you just took, and also ask for help if needed to me.